Coming up this week on Montclair News Lab, following a week of hate, Montclair State comes together to remember and reflect.
We need to make a change.
New Jersey decides. One Montclair State student's journey from election night 2016 to introducing former Vice President Joe Biden at a campaign event.
That we are what is best about America is now.
And how Montclair State Police responded to a dangerous event on campus. Was it the right approach?
45 seconds, the incident ended with no one being injured.
Or an over-response?
Hit home this close.
From the School of Communication and Media at Montclair State University, this is Montclair News Lab. Hello, and welcome to Montclair News Lab. From the School of Communication and Media, I'm Amanda Eustace. Each week, we scour campus, Montclair, and New Jersey to bring you news and stories we'll be talking about all week. We start today with the horrific events in Pittsburgh. 11 members of the Tree of Life Synagogue were murdered by a man with an assault rifle. Baby Garcia has the story of how the campus reacted to the incident and supported the victims.
Cantor Meredith Greenberg singing at a vigil outside the Student Center days after the synagogue shooting. Students, faculty, Montclair residents, members of the Jewish community, and educators gathered at the vigil to pay respects to the victims and speak out against gun violence.
Jane Winter is a freshman television and digital media major.
We need to make a change. Too many lives are being taken and too many people don't care. Regardless of race, religion, ethnicity, background, or any other factors, a person is a person with a life, and that life has meaning.
For Jane, the attack on the Jewish community hits close to home.
Her friend is a senior at the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas School in Florida, where 17 people died by the hands of a shooter in February.
Since then, Jane has been an advocate against gun violence and encourages others to use their voice too.
The issue kind of resonates at home with me, which is why I felt the need to speak out, and which is why I'm such a big advocate for people voting and using their voices, because we all have the power to make a change. It's just a matter of using it.
Today we stand as a collective, a community that mourns.
Hamal Strayhorn is an assistant director of Residence Life. He says the solution is within us all.
So we have to be the light. There will always be people stumbling around in the darkness of ignorance and hate. A response of light must be willing to hear with an ear of civility.
May there someday be sunshine. May there someday be happiness. May there someday be love. May there someday be peace.
Although the Tree of Life Synagogue is more than 300 miles away, the Montclair community hopes these candles and these voices will bring light to a dark moment in our nation. For Montclair News Lab, this is Baby Garcia.
Hopefully more people will come together. Here with us today is Rabbi Adam Rosenblum, Montclair State's campus chaplain. Hi, hello, how are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. Can you tell me how this has affected the Jewish community?
It's definitely impacted the Jewish community in a very deep way. Fortunately, this is not something that we've experienced before, at least not in this magnitude in recent past. And it's something that's absolutely tragic. Loss of life in and of itself, the families that have been affected, and the community at large, not just in Pittsburgh, but for Jews around the world.
Now, I understand you also attended the vigil. Can you tell me, how did you feel attending it? What were some of the emotions going through people's heads?
Yeah, clearly there's a lot of sadness, which is understandable, but in addition, people were given an opportunity to not only express their emotions of sadness and grieving, but also hope for the future, so that fortunately we have an opportunity to come together and try to ensure that these things don't happen again.
And when it comes to hate crimes, do you believe that they're on the rise in the United States?
I've been told that statistically they are on the rise. Unfortunately, I don't have anything more beyond that to share with you because I haven't been affected personally by it, fortunately. So.
And when tragedy strikes like this anywhere, what do the members of the community or the students here at Montclair State, how do they get past this, chug through it, and hope for the best in the future?
Well, the first thing students can do is be there for each other and try to be supportive of each other. Coming together for a vigil like the one that we had here on campus is a great way for people to come together as a community, and also for people from diverse backgrounds to come together and show the importance of unity and supporting each other in times of tragedy and hardship.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all of your insight, and we loved having you here today.
You're welcome.
Ever since cell phones started taking really good video, there's been a rash of incidents of police being caught on camera, sometimes too aggressively. At the very start of the semester here at Montclair State, University Police responded to a call, and the video taken has caused a stir in the university community. Ashley Kuzakonki has our story.
On the very first day of school, an off-duty Montclair State police officer saw a fight near the NJ Transit station and called for backup.
Montclair student Jeff Hermedhi was here in this NJ Transit parking garage when he saw police responding to a fight right down below. He took out his cell phone and started recording.
He filmed the officers pulling their weapons out against the unarmed young men.
Immediately taking out their guns, just getting ready to shoot just in case, shoot first, ask questions later.
Students and 13 Montclair State police officers, including Chief Paul Sell, attended an extraordinary Student Government Association meeting to speak about what happened. Chief Paul Sell of Montclair State answered any questions students had.
Combatants were placed under arrest. 2 other persons that they didn't know who they were searched, released, and within 45 seconds the incident ended with no one being injured.
Over a month after the arrest and the student government meeting, Montclair State students still feel uncomfortable with what happened.
Definitely put on the back burner. I don't think it's resolved. I think it was kind of just brushed aside.
I was literally in awe because this was happening on my campus. And this typically happens, online. And so you like, wow, but you never think that it could hit home this close. And I was literally just disgusted with the campus police.
This video, like many that have surfaced through the nation in the past few years, raises questions about police training and tactics. University police say the incident was sent forward to the prosecutor's office immediately after it happened, and there were no findings of abusive use of force. While no one was injured, this incident highlights the sometimes difficult relationship between young men of color and the police. I'm Ashley Kuzakonki from Montclair News Lab.
As the nation votes in the midterms, there's been a focus on New Jersey's 11th Congressional District, where Democrat Mikey Sherrill and Republican Jay Weber are going head-to-head. Sherrill had a kickoff event on Montclair State campus earlier this fall. Genesis Fuentes introduces us to a Montclair State student who went from anonymous volunteer to a role on center stage.
Life for Najia Khan changed the night Donald Trump was elected president. Khan couldn't believe that someone who espoused negative positions on women, immigrants, and Muslims was bound for the White House.
I'm a Muslim, I'm a woman, and I am Latina, so I think that given the combination of my identities and who I am, I did not feel welcome in this country. I know a lot of people that were absolutely terrified.
Khan decided that now was the time for her to get involved. She volunteered in the campaign of Mikey Sherrill, running as a Democrat in New Jersey's 11th Congressional District.
So I had done more than enough of the sitting at my desk and reading about politics, and had done very little of the active help to elect candidates that I felt deserved to serve in office and represent the American people.
As an intern, it was mostly grunt work, canvassing, assisting in the office, until one day she received the assignment of a lifetime, introducing former Vice President Joe Biden at a Sherrill rally at Montclair State.
Time to heed the words of Vice President Biden and remind ourselves that we are what is best about America is now. And so it is my greatest honor to welcome Vice President Joe Biden.
A month and a half earlier, I had just started and could not have imagined I would ever have such an opportunity, but I did, and I could not be more thankful.
Regardless of what happens Election Day, Khan plans on staying involved.
I want to make sure that I continue to do everything I can to have a positive impact, not only, again, on our town or our district or our state, but just the country as a whole, and to continue the fight for the preservation of American values.
This has been Genesis Fuentes from Montclair News Lab.
Given the current political climate in this country, this year's theme at Castor Theater on Montclair State's campus is Border and Boundaries. It couldn't be more relevant. Joining us to talk about it is the Executive Director of Arts and Cultural Programming at Castor Theater, Jed Wheeler. Hello, Mr. Wheeler. Thank you for joining me.
I'm glad to be here.
Now, I know that every year you guys choose a different theme. This year, Borders and Boundaries. Why did you guys choose it?
Borders and Boundaries is part of the theme. It's Borders and Boundaries, personal and public. It's about people. It's not about walls, but it is about xenophobia. It's about people who are not allowed into this country. It's about people who feel close to the land and are not allowed to connect with the roots of their lives.
So would you say that this theme connects with what's going on in the United States right now, these current issues and hot topics that are going on?
Well, I always feel that the artists are the shaman of our time, and they know before we do what's important and what's valuable for us. We opened this season, actually, with a work called Hathaway, Memory of Fire, which was a story, a musical, about a man who left Eastern Europe in the 20s and could not get into the United States. He wanted to come here. He was told he could not enter this free country. And you know where he went? He went to Cuba. Havana, Cuba welcomed him and his family. And there's a very good example of the kind of work that we're doing. I have a company coming from Australia in 2 weeks, Marageku. These are Aboriginal dancers and singers, pop stars in their own country. They're not known here. And they're doing a work about the land that their ancestors were born on, that was being taken away from them by oil companies, refusing to allow them to live on the land that gave them, that nurtured them. And the oil company said, no, this is our land, this is not your land. Caused quite a fracas.
Definitely a controversy.
And that gives you an idea of what we're talking about.
Thank you, Mr. Wheeler, for joining us. Every week, we check in with the very latest from our campus newspaper, the Montclarian. Here's what they've been up to this week.
The entertainment section this week, we have a lot of different reviews for the different movies and TV shows that are out right now. We have one for Halloween, for Beautiful Boy, for mid-90s, and then for the 2 television reboots that are happening, we have The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, as well as the reboot of Heathers.
In the sports section, there's a lot of coverage on soccer and volleyball this week. Men's soccer won their game, and the men's soccer championships are going to be on November 3rd. Women's volleyball also won, and they will be going to the semifinals against Stockton University.
With the elections being just a week away, the news section is covering where students can vote on and off campus, along with if these students are even voting in the midterm election and if they're even informed.
A new issue of the Montclarian is published every Thursday. Grab your own copy or visit the website at montclarian.org. Now let's turn to the campus radio station, WMSC. When we last looked in on Pat and Christian, they were getting ready for Halloween. This week, they've discovered something even scarier.
Just because Halloween is over doesn't mean WMSC is going to stop with the scares. On the 6th of November, WMSC is going to be covering the scariest thing of all, politics. In a live simulcast with the School of Communication and Media, WMSC is going to be covering all the terror of the election in every last gory detail. But after, WMSC will be covering it long into the hours of the night. So make sure that you're up for the witching hour when all the votes are counted. WMSC says you're in for a scare.
WMSC says you're in for a scare on 90.3 FM, WMSCradio.com, and the iHeartRadio app.
Ow.
Make sure you tune in on WMSCradio.com, the iHeartRadio app, and 90.3 on FM radio. Thank you for joining us on Montclair News Lab. From all of us from the School of Communication and Media, I'm Amanda Eustace. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Montclair News Lab, and follow us on Twitter at MSU News Lab to view the latest newscasts and get a behind-the-scenes look at our weekly productions.